Good morning, David Paul here. Now, this is interesting. We've got all the wood, the main wood for the house cut up. I have enough wood for the house already, but there's still another log to be cut there. And this log down here has got to be cut, what's called plain sawn, which is cut through the tree, side to side, which will produce these nice through cut log faces, which will be used for the headboard of my bed, and maybe another bed out of it. I don't know. I might get the bed top and the foot of the bed out of those log pieces. We'll see. I am watching the guys here. This is good. This looks good. The interesting thing to look at here is, see the way that's twanging about there. It's what we call Malambot soft. Worried me a little bit, but to be fair, this entire project is completely over-engineered from my point of view. And since I'm putting the house up on Tallycud, I just think the logistics of moving all this wood to Samal is going to be too much, so there'll be wood on Samal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out a way of building a house on Samal, maybe out of simpler, smaller pieces, smaller and lighter. But this thing is twanging like crazy because, as I say, it's soft. Now that initially is alarming because we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be stiff as a rod. But it's not carbon fibre, it is wood after all. So, how do we get out of that? Well, don't worry too much, because when it flips on its side, that becomes twice the thickness, because it's 6x3 or 3x6, and that twanging about will stop straight away, because the value of the stiffness will go up 8-fold. So it's 2 squared, since you've doubled the thickness. There, look at that. See that bouncing about like crazy. Now, the secondary thing that you've got to consider here is that, yes, it's bouncing around like that, but also the wood is soaking wet. It was only felled 2 days ago, and it stiffens up. It becomes harder and stiffer as it dries. So we hope that this will be okay, and we're not going to be walking around on a floor that's going to be boing, 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 jumping up and down. And since this house is only probably going to be like 3 feet off the ground, I can put supports in underneath, because nobody's going to walk around underneath a house 3 feet off the ground. So I can put supports in as many as I wish, since they're not getting in the way of anything, because we're not doing anything. What they're doing is they're laying the planks out for the moment here, and they're going to be drying in the sun slowly. What I would really like to do with this wood is to immerse it in water for a couple of weeks and get the sugars out of the wood, which helps in preventing rot, but I just can't do that. Things have got to be moved to site and then done with. I think we're at this length. I've just measured these planks, and they're inaccurately cut, because what I did is I added, this is funny, I added 1 foot. I wanted 24-foot planks, then I added 1 foot, just for like, in case an end split or something like that, or damage. It's like a protective sacrificial end on both ends. And I give myself 6 inches, so each board is now 25 feet. And then what the workers have gone and done, they've gone and done that themselves. So it's now 25.5 feet, which is good, because that means I can I'm borderline, according to the construction of this, the way this house is being built. I'm borderline being able to. I think I'm going to be able to span a total distance of 30 feet, and I have no idea why. But I've got this psychological addiction to the idea of building a house which is 30 feet wide. So there you go. That's what I'm going to do. 30 feet wide, and that's it really. So the next part of the project, I've got it's turned out we've got 10 boards which are 3x6s, 10 3x6s, and I need 6. So I'm well in on those structures, and I have those to be able to cut pieces out of if I need to, and so I'll choose the absolute best 6 for the floor, and then the rest will be used for other construction. And on top there, just there's another log, which is a 12-foot log, and another log below there. So the 12-foot log, I've actually drawn a picture of exactly how I want them cut. This 12-foot log here, I'm going to get them butchered up to 3-inch. It's best to work in factors of things, you know, so things fit together. So like 3x3s and 6x6s and whatever, or 2x4s and 2x2s, that kind of a thing. So that when you fit things together, they kind of like match together, you know. Now the American system, they build houses entirely out of 2x4s. And I could do that, but I think I'm pushing my luck. I think I really want a more beefy beam underneath. So that's getting cut to 3x3s. And this one here, I've instructed them to cut it what you call through and through. So you just slice through the log from one side to another. And they're going to be 3-inch deep. And then I'm going to put them on my... I'm going to use my router to router flatten them, and then cut them so that they stand upright like that to form the headboard of a bed. So this is going to be the most dramatic looking bed that you've ever seen. It's going to be a dramatic looking house, I hope. Well, it is dramatic. What am I talking about? It is dramatic already. It's got real... It's got the Freddie Flintstone look, you know, the dramatic, great big huge beams. So that's going to look good. I'm leaving the bark on because the pieces of wood which have the veiny edge they have an ornamental value. Okay, so they've got an ornamental value, so you want to keep that face clean. Ready to wow, look at that bending, but that's like soft outer wood and it's not going to be used at that sort of length. Yeah, these faces, I want to keep them clean before I take the bark off. Now ordinarily you would take the bark immediately off, but you know, it's going to be ahead of my work capacity if I do that. And then the rot's going to get in, and then it's going to start. Hindi basura yan ang mabuting kahoy sa akin, artistic, yeah? Yeah. It's not rubbish that, it's like for para sa artistic projects, that's bloody Portuguese. It's very easy to slip into Portuguese because the structure of the language seems similar, and also have like, well, it was a Portuguese colony initially. Okay, there's my hipag, my hipag, my sister-in-law coming down, so she'll keep them right, and as a consequence of her presence, the bill gets lower. But I'm not going to stiff these guys. They're not going to stiff me, and I'm not going to stiff them. If the price comes out right, they're going to get a pleasant surprise. Because if you pay people well, you highly motivate them to come and work for you again. And when you want them to work for you, you want the job done at that time, not waiting forever. So that's it. Anyway, that's enough for now, and Makita tayo mamaya, which means see you later, but this day, and Atilago, see you later. Jesus be with you.
Maiganit, naik ka ng sagang.